Hi guys, welcome to another video. Today I am going to do a review of the Netflix show The Haunting of Hill House. Now, I know a lot of people have been watching this, and it's a series, it's a 10-part series, it's about 10 hours long. It came out a couple weeks ago, I believe, but I actually watched it all in one sitting. A long 10 hours, trust me. I had one day off and I started it and could not stop watching it. So I wanted to kind of do a review on it. Now, Haunting of Hill House I have my little notes, sorry if I keep looking down. Michael Flannagan is the director of The Haunting of Hill House. He also directed Hush, Oculus, and Gerald's Game. Now, I know Hush and Gerald's Game are both on Netflix. Both of those films are fantastic. I really like them. Hush is a movie based on a woman that is deaf, and she lives kind of out in the country in a really nice house, and someone is terrorizing her, and kind of what that feels like when you can't hear anything, but someone's kind of around. So it's quite an interesting take on a horror film. So I definitely recommend that one as well. Oculus I really enjoyed, and Gerald's Game is based off a Stephen King novel, which I love the novel. I read that when I was in high school, I believe, and I really, really liked it. So I'm pretty excited by Michael Flanagan's career so far. What I've seen, I've liked everything that he's done. So I'm kind of excited to see what he will put out next. I do know he is working on a sequel to The Shining called Dr. Sleep, so we have that to look forward to. It looks like he's kind of staying within the horror/thriller genre, so I'm pretty excited about that. Also, this show has Carla Gugino, I believe is how you say her name. If I say it wrong, I'm totally sorry, but she was also the lead in Gerald's Game, and she's a beautiful, beautiful lady. She's a great actress, and she plays the mom in The Haunting of Hill House, and I believe it's fantastic. Now, The Haunting of Hill House is a take on Shirley Jackson's novel of the same name, which came out several decades ago. I believe it was 1965. Let me look it up real quick and let's take a look. Now, I've not read the book. I'm interested to read the book. There was also a movie made about it. 1963, I believe. So let's see. 1953 was when it was originally published, so it's pretty outstanding that a lot of movies have been actually based on this. So The Haunting, which came out early 2000, and that's the one with Jan DeBont is the director of, and Lily Taylor is in that one as well. And that came out in 1999. And I actually really enjoyed that. It was a little cheesy. It was this kind of a summer movie, if you ask me. July 23rd is when it came out. But I kind of thought when I was watching this, I'm like, this seems very familiar. Like some of the tones in the things that happen in it seem familiar, as in I've kind of heard the story before. So I was referencing The Haunting in my head, and so it kind of makes sense. But The Haunting was kind of loosely based on it too. Now, from my understanding, Haunting of Hill House is not completely based off the book. They did take some liberties, but it was fantastic. It's a fantastic show. I highly recommend it. Now, I will say there are parts, it does feel a little long sometimes, but of course, this coming from someone who binge watched it for 10 hours in a row, but there is the way the cinematography and the way they film, there's one episode in particular that it is just straight shots. There's no cutaways, and it is unbelievable because you'll be looking at something and you'll see people in the background, but the camera will pan around them, and as it's doing that, the people in the background change. So the premise of this is it's about this family. There is 5 children. There's 2 boys and 3 girls and a mom and dad. And what they do is they buy houses and they flip them and then resell them. And they're working on their forever home or their dream house or whatever. Once they sell this last house, they're going to be able to build their dream home. So they move into the Hill House. And of course, once they move in there, things start happening. The way the show is set up, it kind of flashes back and forth. So you see them in the early 80s. I believe it's the 80s. It could be the 90s. I can't remember. But it flashes to them as they are children, but it also has them currently. So there's a lot of unanswered questions. There's a lot of things going on that you're kind of like, I'm not sure what's going on. And the first few episodes, it was hard for me to tell who was who because it flashes back. You see them. You can kind of tell them apart because, you know, the 3 girls especially, you have older, middle, and younger. But older, they all the casting is superb in this. Like, everybody did such a good job. But they look related. I mean, you can kind of see them and go, okay. But when you look at them, you're like, I don't know which one that is. But it takes a couple episodes for you to kind of figure out who's who and what's happening. But I don't want to spoil too much, but if you were in the mood for, I love hauntings, like houses that are haunted and stuff like that. So this kind of has a great dynamic between thriller/horror, but it also has a great family dynamic. And once you get to the end of it, there's been some questions about, some people really, really like the ending. Other people don't like the ending. But I like how they've merged kind of. Someone said it's This Is Us. If This Is Us is based in a haunted house, that's what this would be. So that'll kind of give you a feel. It's a family drama about basically a lot of shit that's happened to this family over this time. And a death that's happened. And them trying to figure out why it stemmed from this and why the children especially are still having issues, and the parents too, having issues current day. So it flashes back and forth, but the build up on it, jump scares, there's not a lot of jump scares. There is a couple. One of them that happened, I about peed myself, but it comes later in the episodes, but it was fantastic. I was not expecting it, but the way it happened and the reason it happened makes perfect sense. And what I also like about this is that there are little things sprinkled throughout. You have to pay attention because later it makes sense. And it may just be a saying that they've said, or it could be that someone has something going on and it's one thing, and then later in the show you realize it's not what you thought it was. But also, what makes this so creepy, and I've been thinking about this a lot. It's been about a week or so since I've watched it, but there is a lot of hidden gems. And what I mean by that is, what's scarier to me is stuff that doesn't just jump out at you. So let's say a character's talking or they're looking at something, but in the background there is a face or there is a person standing there. And they don't do anything. They don't move. It's just like a quick pan or whatever, and they happen to be back there. It's never explained. They're just there. It gives me cold chills. I mean, it's like if you walk into a room and someone's standing in the corner and you have no idea they're there, but you just keep going about your thing. But then when you go back, nothing's there. So you never even realize they're there. But from an outsider's perspective, you see that. It just gives you cold chills. And I've noticed that there's one that really got me. It happens when they're in the basement and they're looking at a wall or whatever was going on. But from my understanding, if you go online, there is a whole list. Like, people have made lists of every time they've seen a face or someone in the background, and there's a ton of them. So that stuff, it just gets to you. It'll just give you cold chills. It gave me cold chills. But The Haunting of Hill House, I really, really enjoyed it. I think it's a great show. I highly recommend it, especially because it's about Halloween. I think it's great. Fantastic writing, fantastic cinematography. The house is actually real. I believe they found that house in Georgia, so the exterior of the house is an actual house. They built all the sets on a soundstage. I like how they told the story, and Yeah, I really enjoyed it. So if you get a chance, I highly recommend you checking that out. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment below and tell me your thoughts on it. Have you watched any other of Michael Flanagan's movies? Are you excited about something he's got coming up? As always, if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up, and you can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram. My handle is Orbiting Live. Hope everyone has a great day. I will see you guys later. Bye.